Hello and welcome to our video that shows you how to enter mission observation data into the EleQta platform. As usual, we start from our home page. In this page, you might find yourself with one or several different elections that your team has been working on. You must click on the Enter and View Data button, which is next to the appropriate election. So let's say the second one in this case. Once you click on this button, you will access your elections page. Where you can see a section which is orange, where that allows you to enter and view the archival data for the election concerned. And below this, you find a list of missions. As you know, the researchers' work in our project is divided among in two different parts. The first one consists of a long-term collection of information that circulates within his home country about the election and the political life in a period which is a medium-term period, which is defined around the date of the vote. And this kind of information will go into our archival. Another part of the researchers' work consists of dedicating specific days to conducting missions in a specific field, in a specific area, which is being assigned to him by his supervisor and according to a number of different criteria. So in this page, you will find the list of the missions that have been assigned to you. Usually each researcher will conduct one mission before the vote, one mission during the vote, during the voting days, another mission after the vote, before the results are announced, and maybe a fourth one after the results are officially announced. So this video concerns the entry of observation data. So as you can see here, next to each mission, you have a column where you can find the buttons that allow you to enter and view the observation data. Like in the archival section, there are three buttons. The first one we will look at is the yellow one, which allows you to actually open up your topics grid. Topics are elements that we want you to focus your attention on while performing your missions in this case. So the things that you should try and look at when you're on the field. Again, topics are not a list of homework, so we want you to try and observe as much as you can out of these different topics, but we do not expect you to find relevant information for all of the topics. So please take into account that when you enter your mission data, we will not judge you negatively if you do not fulfill all of the topics. And on the other hand, we expect that for some of the topics, there might be several data entries that are being done. By using these two buttons, you can show and hide the instructions and the comments that accompany the topics grid. If you do this, you will end up with a much smaller document, which is much easier to print. So, and since during your missions you will have to be very familiar with these topics, you might want to print them out and carry them with you, or to save them on your phone in a way that's easily accessible to you during the mission. So hiding the comments and the instructions allows you to do this more easily. To go back to our elections page, you also can see here that you have a button that allows you to enter the observation data. I will stress one important thing. It is very important that you, after you have finished your mission, you enter the data for that mission. And while you do this, you have to select very carefully which column, which one of the lines, sorry, you are actually entering observation data for. So which one of the missions is actually concerned by the data that you're entering. So in this case, let's say it's my mission number 2 that I am entering data for. So this is the button that I will have to click on to perform an observation data entry for this mission. To better distinguish your missions here, you can see the starting date and also the moment when they were performed, if it was before, during, after, etc., depending on the voting date. So to enter observation data, you click on this button here and you will access a data entry page that is very similar to the archival data entry page that we saw in our previous video. We have a difference, which is obviously that the topics here are not the archival topics anymore, but the observation topics, so the ones you found in your topics grid. You have to also be very careful when you select your topic grids, because topic grids are also different from one mission to the other. So before you are going to a mission, you must open up, read carefully, and possibly print or store the observation grid and the interview grid in a specific place, so that you know that on that mission tomorrow you will have to use this specific grid. Differences are not always very big, but it's a way to make work easier for the researchers to have different grids where we take away all the topics that surely will not apply on that specific day or on that specific mission. So to enter the data, you click on the blue button next to the relevant mission, you select the topic, and again, you have to enter a text which either describes what you saw or synthesizes briefly the information that you're entering, if it comes from a poster or something that you found, a pamphlet, something that you found on your mission area, on your mission field. Let's stick to our example of demonstration. So I saw a demonstration against the president. So this is something that you may actually witness while you're in your mission area. So once again, the following field is the date and time field, where you can either decide to fill in only the year, the month, the day, or be specifically indicating a precise time in a specific day. If the information is something that you actually observed, then you should try and be as precise as possible. If the information is sourced from some kind of media, which may also be the case in a mission scenario, although we rather expect media information to be stored in our archival, but in some cases you might be on your mission area and really stumble upon some kind of media release that is really relevant to your mission, and you might want to enter it into your observation, into your mission observation data. So if so, the date that you will have to indicate here is the date of publication of the media release, whether it's on a newspaper or the internet. You usually have access to a date and time of publication, or at least a date or a month. Again, the location field is to be used in different ways depending on where you source the media. If it's something that you observed, then you will simply have to pinpoint your location on the map, and the location where you actually when you actually observed the facts. We would like to stress that you can also, if the connection allows you, to perform data entries while you are on your mission. If you do this, you might also want to benefit from this function here, which is called Use My Current Location, which allows you to interact with the GPS in your device and to track your position and pin it on the map. So if you are still in the place where you saw the demonstration, you can click on this button and the system will pinpoint your position automatically. When you do this, you still have to double check that everything is working fine, because sometimes the GPS doesn't work, etc. So if you want more details about how to use the map, please refer to our video about how to create archival data entries, because that's where we explain in detail how to use the maps and their different functions. The next field is called location details. This is where you can enter further details to indicate more precisely what you have already outlined on the map. So the map has imperatively to be used in the first place. Then if you want to add more details which cannot be put on the map, or if you are really struggling to identify your position on the map, you can use this field to specify your position in a more precise way. The next field is the source field. So once again, you have different fixed options here, which can be researchers, observation, rumors, anonymous source, or the extreme option where you do not know where the information comes from, and you select source unknown to the researcher. This is only to be used in extreme cases because information that doesn't have a source is of very little use to us. Among the different sources, you can also select the persons that have a dossier, and also the organizations and the media in particular who have a dossier. So if you are sourcing something from some kind of media, you should select it here. If a dossier does not exist here for one of the media, for something, for one of the actors that you want to indicate here as a source, you can create a new dossier. So you will just assign a name to your dossier. You will click on enter, and then you will go to the dossier section of EleQta just after you have finished your data entry to actually fill in the details about this dossier and make it available to your fellow team members. Once you have entered the name here and clicked on enter, the system will create the new dossier, but it will be visible to you alone. And it will be stored in a special section which is called My Dossiers, where dossiers are only visible to you. So as soon as you have finished your data entry, you must go to the dossier section and tell EleQta what kind of dossier you just entered. This is probably the name, for example, of a website. So I will have to specify that the type of dossier is a media and that the subtype is a news website, for example. I will show you at the end of the video how to do this. There is also the possibility to upload a file. You can upload a file to attach to your mission observation. It can be a picture of what you observed, recording, video, any type of files are welcome. You click on this button, you select the file within your device. If you are on a mobile phone, when you click on this button, a window will open up giving you a number of different options, including the possibility of selecting a file, an image from your gallery. And then once you confirm your selection, you will see an upload bar appears, and then the file appears over here, and this means that it has been correctly uploaded. You can delete it if you want. And in case upload is impossible, only in case upload is impossible, you also have an extra field here where you can enter the file name of the file that you have not been able to upload. And you will store this file in a big folder along with all the files that you have gathered during your inquiries and that you were not able to upload. And you will assign it a unique name, and you will write the name here, image 1. So only in case you cannot do the upload, you use the second option, you write the file name here, and you store the file in a big folder that you will give to your supervisor at the end of the inquiry work. There is another field here which is called reference to the associated file, to be used in case the file is very long and you want to point the researchers that will look at your data entry towards a particular section of your file. So a page if it's a long text, or a time interval if it's audio or video. So you can write here page 10 or a certain time of the video. If you want to tell the researcher, look, the video lasts 20 minutes, you don't have to watch all of it, just go to this moment to find the relevant information. The next field is called dossiers involved. If you click on this field, you have a choice among all the dossiers that have already been created within EleQta for your country. And in this field, you have to specify which dossiers, which actors are involved in the information you're entering. So we mentioned a demonstration against the president. Obviously, the president is involved in this information, so we will mention it. Maybe this demonstration is organized by a specific party, the PDC, voila, and we select it. And over here, you should be really scrupulous in trying to identify all the actors that are involved in the information that you're entering. And if there is no dossier for the actor, you can create a new one by just writing down its name and the actor's name and clicking on enter. Once again, if you do this, just after you've done creating the data entry, you will have to go back to the dossier section of EleQta to enter the remaining information about this dossier. The next field is a little bit of a complex field. Be careful, this field only needs to be filled in if the information you're entering mentions another event which occurred at a different place and at a different time. So, for example, if instead of doing a data entry after something that I saw, I am entering an article about a demonstration against the president, then this obviously the location here will change. It will be the location where the media that I sourced this article from is spread. So let's say it's the entire country. I will select the DRC, voila, and well, the date of publication. So in the second map, I will enter the date, time, and location that are contained in the information. So the article contains a reference to a demonstration which occurred, let's say, 3 days before, on the 13th of January 2019, and I don't know at what time, it doesn't matter. And I know the specific location where this demonstration occurred, and I will pinpoint it on the map. So this field doesn't, as every other field in EleQta, except for the source and the text field, is not compulsory. It only needs to be filled in if the information that I'm entering contains a reference to another event which occurred at a specific place and time. So the place and time of the event will be entered into the second map, and the place in the second map and the time in the second date field. So we at the end of the data entry page, like for the other data collection modes, you have a field where you can see the plot and subplot hypothesis, and you can also enter your own analysis of the data that you're entering, and also state how it relates to these hypotheses. We strongly encourage you to write your analysis in this field. Please take into account that all other fields must be filled in as objectively and in a clear-cut way as possible. So once you are done entering all the information, you will create the data entry by clicking on the blue button. And once you have done this, you will receive a confirmation message, and you will be sent to a page where you can see all the data entries that you have entered for this specific mission. Over here, you can edit the data entry that you have already done, or you can clone it. Cloning it means that you will be able to create another data entry which is identical to the one that you have just created. We don't want you to ever make two identical data entries into EleQta. It's useless, but in some cases you might observe, or you might want to enter information that is pretty similar between two different data entries. So you might just need to clone an existing data entry. If you do so, you will access a new data entry page which is already filled in, and here you can make all the changes you want, and then once you're done, you create the data entry again, and here you are. Our second data entry is done. You can also edit the data entries by clicking on this button, and you can create a new observation data entry by using this button, or you can go back to your election page by clicking on this other button.